So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Rose Z podcast. Obviously, we're in a bit of a different environment today. This is not on Zoom. We are in Sound and Vision Production Studios in Bromley, and of course, I've got my co-host, my right-hand man, everywhere I go, Adam Affine with me.
It's great to be here. It's really cool to be in here, so just excited to get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we did say in the last podcast we were going to have a special guest, but unfortunately, our special guest has had some issues that mean he cannot turn up, which is sad.
Our deepest condolences.
Condolences, cry. Right, okay, well, we'll jump straight into the football news because obviously a lot has happened in the footballing world. And obviously, we've had transfer deadline day since. We've had games go on yesterday where there has been some high-scoring games, especially between Spurs and Burnley, Man City and Fulham, even Newcastle and Brighton. Some massive games to talk about, some massive talking points in the footballing world. We'll jump straight into the transfer window and how that's come to an end, especially within the Premier League clubs. We've seen some big signings on transfer deadline day. And one that I can't get my head around, Adam, is Cole Palmer going to Chelsea for 40 million. He was getting game time at Man City.
I think it's weird, especially because they've lost so many players City in the forward areas. I think this was his season, so I think I say he's really broken into the team, but to prove himself, especially with De Bruyne out injured, Foden tends to play off the left, Bernardo's in the middle now, so yeah, that right slot was his. I think with Mahrez gone. And obviously, he scored in the Super Cup final as well, I'm pretty sure. And I'm very confused, especially going to Chelsea where, okay, he's probably on a bit more money, that's the difference. But they've got Madueke there, Sterling can play out there. I'm just as baffled as you are, to be honest. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Because the fact is, in sense of sort of footballing quality and current league position, Chelsea is a massive step back.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, we'll go on to their result from yesterday in a second, but I can't get my head around. I think that's the one transfer that in this window that I've just not really been able to understand why he would go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he getting out of it apart from maybe an extra 10k a week? I mean, don't get me wrong, an extra 10k a week, we'd all love that.
No.
But
it's weird because he's with Pep, arguably the best manager in the world. And as you said, they just won the treble. He's
going to get minutes. He's getting minutes.
Especially
he's starting
they compete
games
on all four fronts of all the competitions, all the cups, and they get deep in these cups. I'm also just as confused. I don't see Chelsea's a mess right now as well. I think
but
with the money they're spending.
I think Man City did spend that 40 million that they got for him very wisely on Matheus Nunes. I think it's a player that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. Yeah. Obviously, Man City have put in a bid and this, that, and the other. Wolves now looking a big state of trouble with losing one of their star players. 55 million, though. Do you think that's a fair price tag?
I think nowadays that's quite cheap, considering they bought him last season for 45, I believe. I think they literally bought him and sold Gibbs White for literally the same price. 55 million for someone of that quality. He's not very old. I don't think he's relatively young. Prem proven. I think it's a really good sign. Again, he's not like for like, so it's not like I think he starts 100%, but he's not a Cole Palmer replacement. So it is I get why they bought him, but I don't get why he's gone. As in Cole Palmer, that's still weird. But Matheus Nunes is a very good bit of business. We were looking at him, but we didn't get him. We couldn't put
Well, you haven't got that pulling power anymore. Actually, we'll go on to your pulling power because I think this is a fantastic signing. Obviously, you've been crying out for an actual central midfielder. You've got Szoboszlai, who is more attacking. You've got McAllister, who I know can play in sort of that number 8 role, but again, is more attacking. Yeah. You've been playing them two together with Cody Gakpo in midfield. Yeah, it's not been working. Yeah. You bought Endo in, who...
He looks okay. I think he's more of a squad player.
He looks way out of his league when he starts. But Ryan Gravenberch, it's an incredible signing, I must say.
He's not a 6, but he's only 21. 34 million for a 21-year-old nowadays is a bargain.
It's a bargain. And he's so
exactly.
good as well.
He's got all the right attributes to be like top player. He's tall, he's good with the ball, he's strong, physical. I think it's a really good sign. I think Klopp wanted him when he left Ajax, which was only last year. and he was tipped to be like one of the best youngsters in the world at that point. So
He's
I'm really
still
happy
young,
with
yeah,
that.
he's
Yeah,
still
exactly.
young,
So
so
obviously we've got a couple of Dutch players already, so I think he'll fit in fine. But I think a two-man pivot with him and what is almost Trent or an Endo would work quite nicely, is what the role's going to be. So yeah, I'm excited to be down in its depth because people like Thiago can't stay fit. So I'm really excited, and I'm glad we at least got another player through the door. I would have liked a defender as well, but I'll take Ryan Gravenberch for sure.
Yeah, you see, we can get obviously. We'll go on to what Norwich have lost out on very, very shortly. But another signing that I'm a big fan of, and I like what they're doing, is Tottenham signing Brennan Johnson for 45 million. And I covered Spurs on radio yesterday against Burnley, and Spurs mesmerised me. They mesmerised me. How quickly Ange Postecoglou has sort of changed that team to fit a style of play that doesn't need a Harry Kane-based striker, and how quickly they've acclimatised to that and can score goals at will, can defend brilliantly. Granted, they conceded 2 goals, but if we look at the Man United game, they defended brilliantly. We look at the Bournemouth game, defended brilliantly. They look an all-round threat, solid at the back, but yet potent in attack, and it works really, really well for them. I think Brennan Johnson is going to add to that.
I think he's probably a bit more than I'd pay for him, but then he's young, so wouldn't say Prem proven. He wasn't amazing.
I think that's harsh. He did bag a fair few goals last season,
but I think it's worth that. To
it's
Forest
also how
was the difference.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Yeah.
We see with these players all the time that go from smaller clubs to bigger clubs. Look at Jack Grealish, for example. Yes, the price tag may not be worthy of their ability with playing football. However, it's what they are worth to the club, and 45 million, I think, is a fair valuation for Brennan Johnson, especially the current prices that players are going for.
Everyone's a little bit inflated right now, and I think it's good competition for either Richarlison or Kulusevski, because I think he plays on the right or through the middle. Son looked really good through the middle yesterday. Obviously, scored a hat trick. But I think Maddison's been arguably the signing of the summer, to be honest. For what was it, nearly 40 million or 30? 40. That is a joke. Like the fact he's going for that little is just ridiculous.
I can just remember watching him in the Norwich days, and it's just beautiful to watch.
He was he was good everywhere.
Went to Leicester, smashed it. Like he's not gone to a club. He's not had a bad season.
He's had bad spells and been unlucky with some of the clubs, but he's always been consistent.
He's been a consistent performer throughout. He's always just got better. And look at him now. He's now at Spurs, and he's thriving.
I think for me, he's
definitely.
I would agree for England as well. I know he's been picked. I think he's been picked.
He's been picked for the current.
For me, he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet, and I think he starts ahead of a Grealish or someone, in my opinion.
At the minute, definitely.
And I think how I think he's a better player in my opinion.
And Southgate has been saying he wants to pick squads based on how they're performing. I mean, judging by that team selection that he's put out, I don't know how true that is.
It's a weird one, because I think this will be, like, not going too on to England, but I think this will be the last squad that I think Henson and Maguire's called up.
Yeah.
I think he's just sort of having a chat with him saying, unless you're doing this, money to Maguire, we're going to start phasing you out, which is fair enough, but I think Maddison, for me, has to start. As I said, he's probably been one of the best players in the league this season.
I'd agree that at the minute.
And he's changed that
obviously,
team.
we get to see how the deadline day signings go on, but at the minute, I do agree. James Maddison has been the signing of the summer. I think he's fantastic. But we'll go on to a club who were ridiculously busy on deadline day, Nottingham Forest, which is where I've become quite upset about, because they signed Andrew Omobamidele from Norwich, and in replacement we got Danny Bath. As you can see, I'm thrilled with that news. And I hope the club announce relegation shortly. But yeah, obviously Nottingham Forest, very, very busy. They've had Andrew Omobamidele come in, they've had Divock Origi come in, and Sangare all come in, and they all got announced within the space of 45 minutes.
That's mental. Yeah, that Sangare is a really good sign, because we were looking at him, United were looking at him, and he was only like 30 odd million as well. So it's mental that how he's gone to Forest. Yeah.
And they signed, can't even think of who else. They just signed so many players. Hudson Odoi, there's another one.
5 million as well.
Nicholas Dominguez on deadline day as well. The crazy thing is where are they all going to fit in, and how quickly are they going to settle? Because we saw this issue with Nottingham Forest last season. They brought in 28 transfers, I think it was last season. I think it's only 13 or something this season. Still crazy though.
A lot of them have gone back. Some of them were only on loan.
Yeah, exactly.
So 1 year, like Keylor Navas was only like a 1 year contract, so he's gone back or whatever.
But even then, like, they just seem... with Forest, they could be such a good team. They could be a really good team, and we'll go on to them in a second. But they could be such a good team if they could just integrate those players into a system and get them performing quickly. Because if you're taking so long to allow players to settle in, you're not going to be picking up results as much. But Forest do have potential to become to be in a very similar position to Aston Villa, where they are now. You know, they spent that big money to stay up in the Premier League when they first got promoted.
Gibbs-White's a very good player to build around as well.
Exactly. There you go. We'll go on to Nottingham Forest now, because obviously they did pick up 3 points at Stamford Bridge yesterday, and well deserved as well, I think. And Chelsea definitely in a spot of trouble.
Caicedo again messing up. Delighted.
Yeah,
love that.
You love it.
Yeah, I love that. Every mistake.
Have you got like a little... Do you watch Chelsea games, Adam? You have a little notebook out and you start just write how many mistakes Caicedo makes a game?
No, Twitter does that for me.
I go on Twitter and
there's
Twitter. Oh, yeah, there's another one. There's a Caicedo mistake. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
but I think with Forest, I think they bought the players at the right time, because you got now international break for 10 days, 2 weeks, give or take. Half of them might not, or might be getting called up. So they got time to get used to the training and get into the team, and they all won't start. Like, they're not all going to start straight away. No. I think Elanga looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, Elanga.
And then he signed him at the start of this season, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
A few weeks ago, and he was decent at United. He just wasn't good enough for United, I think.
Yeah,
but
and he's also really young as well. Then he needs time to grow as well.
He's ridiculously quick as well. Like, and his goal was good finish as well. Like, Awuni's playing quite well. He's got, I think, 6 in a row. He didn't score at the weekend, so he's not going for Vardy's record now. But...
No, but he did get an assist. He did get a goal contribution, so there is that. But yeah, no, Nottingham Forest do look like they could... I mean, no one had them down as relegation. No, I don't think anyone had them down to maybe cause a bit of an upset this season. I think this transfer window, if they can get players integrated into a system very, very quickly... The quality of players they've got is unbelievable. Obviously, they've sold Brennan Johnson. That's a big loss. But I feel like they have replaced him.
But then, Elanga's and Origi and Sangara with that money or equivalent, give or take.
Hudson-Odoi,
that's going to replace him.
And Awani's on form of his life at the minute.
They'll not forget about Brennan Johnson, but I think they've got players that...
They've got... I don't think...
Elanga and Hudson-Odoi are arguably on par with Brennan Johnson, if not even, in my opinion, maybe slightly better. So I think they can... do the job.
Definitely.
It's just about if Origi can find the form he was at times for Liverpool, which is a very good player. Also, fact about him, he's got the same birthday as Divock Origi. That's probably why he's so good. Yeah, and then if he finds form, then they're laughing.
Great. When's Divock Origi's birthday?
18th of April.
That's a fantastic fact, Adam.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
That. Thank you. That's really like. Do you know what? I was wondering all day so far, when is Divock Origi's birthday?
Well, no.
I didn't know how I was going to sleep at night, but thanks to you telling me now, I can sleep at ease. But yeah, no, like I think you touched on another good point is that they can build a team around Morgan Gibbs-White now, and I think he's an incredible player. Yeah. He's physical, he's quick, he's tall, he's strong. He's very versatile as well. Oh, yeah. He can play sort of a centre midfield role, but then he can move out to the right. Yeah. He can play on the left. He can always, but he can also play as like sort of like a centre forward role, supporting Awaniyi. So I think building around Morgan Gibbs-White and getting those players in that can feed off him, because the fact is, I think what Nottingham Forest are probably going to try and do is play through Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah,
they relied on him a lot last season,
and I think they're still going to rely on him. But I think they need the players around him to support him as well.
I think he's unlucky that he's in a position where England have a lot of good players already, like Maddison was for years.
Yeah, exactly.
And only now Maddison's really getting the recognition he probably deserves. But you got Foden, Grealish, Maddison, and Mount. Okay, Gibbs-White is definitely better than Mount in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Southgate likes him, and there's 4 players that play his role that are all going to get picked ahead of him. Otherwise, because he does well for the under-21s, Gibbs-White, when he plays.
He does, yeah.
So it's a shame he doesn't. He might get called up at some point if he continues form. But as I said, I think he's a very good player. I think they spent 40-odd million on him, so he's obviously got a big point to prove. But he definitely helped keep him up last season. And as you said, if they play for him this year, now that they've lost Brennan Johnson, who was probably their other main man last season, I think they'll definitely comfortably stay up. I'd say 10th to like 13th, they'll probably finish.
And again, that's going to be a massive improvement on last season.
Oh yeah, and I think they've got the capabilities like to beat a Liverpool or United or
Well,
Arsenal
they beat Chelsea yesterday away from home as well.
Their home grounds, they do all right there. So I think they'll beat a couple of big teams.
Yeah, we'll touch on Chelsea though, because it's how can they get it right? Because they've spent a ridiculous amount of money. They've brought in players of serious quality. The likes of Caicedo, who should be with that price tag, should be a world beater. Instead, you're sat here smiling. Oh, we got Ryan Gravenberch for 34. You spent 110 on Caicedo,
Lavia's not even in the squad. He's watching from the stands. The last 2 games, he's just been sat watching in the stands.
But it just seemed like I don't get what's going on with Chelsea. Like, does Pochettino want these signings, or is just Todd Bowley just going out saying, "Oh, let's sign every big six target and just keep him in the club for a bit"?
Just because they spend money doesn't guarantee success. I agree that they should be doing better, but then it does.
But the quality of manager that they've got.
It's like, as you said with Forest. So Forest signed as you said, 28 odd players last year. Okay, they're not as good as the players Chelsea have signed, but if they're signing 10 to 15 players and half of them expected to start, but they've all got to get used to each other. New system, new manager, injuries.
Most of them were signed prior to the season starting. Apart from Lavia and Caicedo, most of them were signed prior to the season starting. You would have thought by now, how many games are we in?
I've not even seen like a clear system, because
there's
Poch usually plays 4 at the back, but I think recently he's played 3. He did against us, I know that at the start. Obviously, Reece James out injured, which is massive already. Like, he's already gone.
The thing is Reece James a massive miss? Right,
he was from last season.
Yeah, but he is every single time. He gets injured every season.
Oh yeah, no,
I
agree.
He cannot stay fit to save his life. But I think Chelsea have adapted to that. They brought in Gusto, who was very, very good against Luton.
Yeah, he looks good.
But the fact is, if Reece James is going to carry on being injured, he shouldn't even be club captain. I think that's a stinking choice.
Who's vice? Is it Chilwell?
I think it's Chilwell. I think again Chilwell's injury prone as anything as well.
Yeah.
I have no idea who should be club captain. I think
Enzo would be. I don't know how good his English is.
That's the issue. Look at the lack of leaders there are at Chelsea.
I'm not too sure.
Look at the lack of leaders there are at Chelsea.
I think they've got a very young team. That's what it is, and they've got good players. I think Enzo Fernandez is quality.
Individual talent.
I think Jackson looks like a good player. Sterling could probably be up there for a shout for captain, but he doesn't strike me as that sort of leader.
I think
he's just the most experienced player.
He's played well. He
started well, but he's a purple patch player. He was like this to see. He'll have a good 2 months, and then we won't hear about him for 4 months, and he'll have another good 2 months.
True, but how do you see Chelsea improving from here? Because I think it is pivotal for Pochettino, especially within the next month or two, to find a system that works, find his best 11. Because if he's got so many players to choose from, if you're switching and swapping week in week out, you're not. The inconsistency is going to carry on. Yeah, you might win one week, but if you're going to change that lineup for the next week, it's going to be no sort of consistent pattern there that's going to get them the way they're playing. Because even if it doesn't work, even if their system doesn't work one game, don't go change it up. Stick with it. Get it working. That's what you've got to do. Get it working.
Yeah, that's what other managers done. Like we did that, and I think
he just keeps seeing.
With Chelsea, I think that, as I said, the international break for them is perfect. It gives them again 2 weeks to try with the new players, get them integrated in the squad, and I think they've got the quality. So it's only up. They can't get any worse. Is the way I look at it, really. So it's only up from here. They've definitely got the play. Like if Jackson finds form, he looks like a really good player. I like him a lot. He just doesn't stop running. He'll always just shoot, and that's what they needed. Somebody's just going to shoot a lot. Havertz just didn't shoot, and they had the players that just would not shoot, or if they did, they were missing.
Yeah, no, true.
If Sterling finds form, if Cole Palmer finds a bit of form as well, Madueke is a decent player.
Yeah,
their midfield is arguably one of the best in the league if they get it right.
Individually,
as I said, Caicedo, Fernandez,
cohesively, and maybe not
Lavia.
So much.
Gallagher's been really good for them as well. To be fair, he's had a good start to the season.
Yeah, he was linked away to some, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Spurs,
but I think they deliberately kept hold of him because of his start of the season. Because I think he would have been one of the first names out of the door because he was an easy 30 million to sell, I think.
Yeah.
I think Poch will get them going. I think without Europe as well, obviously they made it through in the Cup, didn't the other day.
Yeah, by the skin of their teeth.
I think they've drawn Brighton in the next round, isn't it? I believe so.
Yeah,
potentially.
No,
so for them, I think if they win like Carabao Cup and get top 6, it's an improvement. They should be pushing top 4. They should be.
Well, they've got to be.
I look at other teams like Tottenham. I think Liverpool. I look at Newcastle.
You've got to think how ruthless the owners are at Chelsea. Right, if Poch doesn't get top 4 this season, he's gone out the door. Right, then you have,
Yeah.
God knows how much is spent on Pochettino's squad. You'll bring in another manager to coach players that he may not even want. Like this is, he's Chelsea are such a mess at the minute. They have to get it right now. Or
it's not even. They don't have to necessarily win a title, but I think there's got to be signs of if they're like 90%, it's got to be top 4. It's got to be top 4. They've got to be okay, we're maybe one piece away from it. Or we were just they got to be really but they're not even playing a certain way. You're not looking at it and going
there's got to be signs.
There's a style of for example, when we were there years ago when Klopp first came, we were we're playing really well. We need a defender. All right, we'll buy Van Dijk. We look better now. Oh, we still have a shit keeper. Yeah, we'll buy a new keeper. And then you can see every year you're adding pieces to the puzzle to complete it. And then you got the finished article. I think Chelsea are doing that. It's just they've spent so much now. They've got all the pieces now. They're just what
Chelsea have done. They've bought a puzzle. They've thrown the box on the floor. All the puzzle pieces are lifted out and just there.
Yeah, and they're just trying to work out how to put it together.
It's just piecing it together. That's it. But yeah, we'll move on from Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea, they need to get better. Forest, not doing too bad. But we'll go on to one of the big scoring games this weekend that happened yesterday. Obviously, we were filming this on a Sunday, so we can't really review Man United Arsenal, the big game this afternoon for you, because it's a Sunday morning. I know, what are you doing on a Sunday morning? Laying in bed, hungover? Well, we're recording the Rose Ed podcast, so I just want to get that in there. I feel be the whole the Molly Haig or whatever her name is of a podcasting world. You've got the same 24 hours in a day. This and that. No, we'll go on to one of the high scoring games of the weekend: Burnley versus Tottenham Hotspur, which I watched yesterday and I thought was a fantastic game of football. And it was prime Barclays. Burnley took the lead very early on. And Burnley remind me so much of Norwich. So much of Norwich when we went up.
Yeah.
In the sense that they are trying to play the exact same football that won them the championship. Which is great. It's beautiful to watch in the championship. You know, the passing football, the playing out from the back. It's great to watch in the championship. It works there because they are one of the teams with the better quality players in that league. Yeah. But when you move up a league... and you play that sort of same style of football, you have better quality players pressing you, better players with better football knowledge.
They'll take the chances if you make mistakes.
Exactly. And the issue was, I think at least 3, if not 4 of the goals yesterday came from Burnley trying to play out the back.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that's going to arise. And what Company needs to do is not panic here. He can't panic. What he needs to do is he just needs to think, okay, how can I make my defence stronger?
No, I think...
How can I play a system that allows my team to not make as many mistakes, or at least have cover for those mistakes? So if you still want to play that style of football and play out from the back, great. But make sure when you make those defensive errors, you can cut them out with an instant. If that means dropping a midfielder 5 yards deeper, if that means dropping in a winger 2 yards deeper to cover a fullback, great. But that needs to get sorted now because they look horrific. And they remind me so much of Norwich because Norwich tried to do the same thing and we didn't learn and we got relegated twice because of it.
I think it's for them, you just got to adapt. They know against maybe the top teams, you play a bit differently. You maybe go a bit more direct. You do a bit...
But they weren't direct.
That's what I'm saying. So when they're playing it, they're not going to play the same way against Luton as they will Man City, and they shouldn't. But to start with the season, he probably has done. So he's learning, and maybe we'll go, we can't afford to do that against the top teams with the pressing, as you said. The players, if you give them one chance, they'll score. Whereas the teams lower in the league that they should be beating, or, as I said, have more chance of winning, that will keep them up, those big games, they're the ones they can stick with the way they play. And they have good players to score goals. It's just they need to learn when and when not to play that style of football, and I think that's where he's got to adapt. But he's a very young manager.
Exactly, he's very inexperienced. Yeah. I think the idea for Vincent Kompany at the minute is just don't lose your head.
Yeah.
Just keep calm, because he's not going to lose his job. But the thing is, Burnley can be direct. They have players to be direct. If you play a front two of Lyle Foster and Jay Rodriguez, you've got someone heading it down into Lyle Foster, being that target man. And a player that really impressed me for Burnley yesterday was the youngster Koleosho. Signed for $3 million from Espanyol in the summer, 18 years old. Very quick. Got the assist for the first goal. looked a hell of a player. He was the only real one. Him and Lyle Foster, who I was also very impressed with, were the ones causing the problems for Tottenham Hotspur in that game. But other than that, Burnley had other than them two players, they had 9 passengers on the pitch, including James Trafford.
Yeah. I think they've just got to look at it. There's probably going to be 2 or 3 teams worse than them. Like I look around, as I said,
but
Luton look worse.
Obviously they haven't had the easiest start. I do get that.
They've
Aston
had
Villa,
a tough start. As of Forest, like we said earlier, they both had very difficult starts. They were never expected to beat City. They weren't expected to beat Spurs. But it's the performance. You want to see something in there that goes,
and potentially the naivety of their performances.
Like Sheffield looked okay. They looked decent enough against City.
Sheffield United, by the way, come on, get it right. There's 2 teams in Sheffield.
Yeah, they look good against City, and there's promising signs that they might stay up. I don't think they will, but at least you can see something like they could be all right. Whereas I said, Burnley, you've not seen maybe enough promise at times. They just need to make sure they find consistency in some of them areas, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll go on to Tottenham Hotspur because, again, Ange Ball is proving to be the best ball to watch at the minute. It is unbelievable. I'm enjoying watching Tottenham Hotspur at the minute, Adam. I really am. I watch Tottenham Hotspur and I feel like I'm watching some prime Pornhub. That's what I feel like. It's fucking beautiful, right? James Maddison is the most gorgeous and sexual footballer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like we said earlier, he's definitely been one of the best signings, and I don't know what to say after that. To be honest with you, I did not expect to go, but I can't disagree. I can't. You can't disagree. It pains me as I don't really like Tottenham, but
they are so good at the minute, and the fact is, like I say, it's the system that they're playing.
Yeah.
And it's how Ange has got them playing, like a system that doesn't need a Harry Kane. And Postecoglou even said this in an interview. Harry Kane, he's an irreplaceable man. But he noticed that he's an irreplaceable man. So what do? Do you try to replace him? No. Change the system. Get the players playing a different system that can suit the 11 players that will be on the pitch at that time.
I always thought it'd be the case. I just didn't think it'd be this good. I think that's what people thought.
We thought it would take him at least time to implement.
I mean, I'd still be worried about Richarlison and players like that if they don't find form.
But he didn't even start.
But he should be put Son's not going to be up top, I don't think, the whole season.
Yeah, but
Richarlison needs. I don't know. He needs to balance the goals out.
He might do because another player that impressed me, Manor Solomon.
Yeah, he was signed from Fulham, wasn't it? Yeah,
got 3 assists.
Yeah,
but he was a joke yesterday. He was so good.
Yeah, but Son had this last season. He scored a hat-trick in the start of the season and just fell off a cliff. Not literally, obviously, but he just did nothing all season.
Not. He scored a hat-trick
yesterday. So he could easily do that again this season. He had one good game. I think it was Leicester who scored a hat-trick last season.
Yeah, but there's so many differences with Spurs now. There is such a positive energy within the Spurs side.
It is,
and they are beautiful to watch, Adam.
Could you just have one game that comes crashing down, though? This is still the same team that lost and got knocked out of the cup in midweek.
Yeah, but it's also the same thing that beat Man United, Bournemouth comfortably.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
And Burnley comfortably. Yeah. And they're playing good, progressive football, Adam. Yeah. They're not defensively minded anymore. They are good. They are beautiful to watch.
Yeah. No, I think they'll definitely be pushing top. They look, for me, more made up than a Newcastle. Newcastle look shook, to be honest, right now.
Ooh, yeah, well.
I think they look more consistent than United and as Chelsea. So they're 3 teams that I've already put them ahead of. But as I said, I still think they're below.
I think we both, in our predictions, I don't think either of us had Spurs in the top 4.
No, I think I had him 6th or something.
Yeah.
Which was fair enough because I think I had him lower than that because without Kane, we all thought they'd struggle. And we didn't think Maddison would probably be as good as he is. Or I sort of worried more about Richarlison being up top, but now he's been moved.
And that midfield too as well, by the way.
Bissouma looks class.
Bissouma.
Looks like a different player.
Bissouma.
Adoji's a very good player as well at left back. So they've got a good squad. It's just, I think they're a bit thin in some areas potentially. Maybe a couple injuries and then could be different. Maybe Bissouma got injured, that could be a different team, or Maddison. Then you're back to square one again, maybe. But
that midfield too, Bissouma and Sard, and you got Pedro Porro. I'm impressed by him. Destiny Adoji, I'm impressed by.
He's defensively a bit weak, but he's good going forward.
And I love Van der Ven.
Yeah, he looks
just
good.
His name, Van der
Mickey
Ven.
Yeah,
Mickey Van der Ven.
Yeah,
I like saying it. It's like it just rolls off the tongue, Van der Ven.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you know what? He's like a Rolls Royce of a centre half. He's so quick. He's powerful. Did you see Romero's goal as well yesterday?
That was a good finish. Yeah.
Right. Everyone would think I'm a Spurs fan the way I'm gassing them up right now, but I just think they're a very, very good footballing side to watch in a minute, and I think they will comfortably make top 4.
Yeah.
With the way they're playing.
I think they'll get. Yeah, I think they'll definitely be out there. because other teams have better squads, so if they click, they'll be above them, in my opinion. But on current form, I'd be putting them in there.
Heung Min Son, what a player.
He is a good player.
What a player. Right, well, we'll go on to the sort of next topic of talk. Adam, start us off.
You got Brighton. I think Brighton looked really good yesterday against Newcastle.
This is weird. Brighton lost last week against West Ham, but I think we got shown just a very good West Ham performance of a smash and grab and go.
100%.
But Brighton yesterday, and again, a transfer that we didn't mention because there was so much going on. Ansu Fati. What a signing!
It's like some sort of career mode stuff. That's outrageous. Or like a Football Manager. It's just weird. I don't get it. But it's
like living
so cool.
in some sort of multiverse era where I'm playing my 2019 career mode with Brighton. Ansu Fati to sign.
It's a really good sign. He will be really wherever he can stay fit because the lad's had like 4 surgeries on his knee and he's only 19, 21 maybe. No. I think Evan Ferguson looked unbelievable yesterday. He showed what he can do.
Do you know what? He's 18.
Yeah, and I think it's frightening. He's definitely 100 million plus.
I'm 23. I'm sat here.
Yeah, we don't want to
with a skin tight Norwich shirt on an armchair. Evan Ferguson's 5 years younger than me, banging hat-tricks in the Premier League, and he's such a chiselled man. He looks like he's 30 and he's 18. Like he's so built. You know what I mean?
I don't look at him that sort of way. I just tend to go on his footballing ability. Really,
but his footballing ability is helped by his physique. Because he's big, he's strong, he's quick. Yeah. He can finish.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Yeah,
he's massive.
When you put it like that, I can understand.
He's massively helped
as
by.
I said,
and he's a complete striker. He's a
very good player. I think it's someone that maybe a United or someone should have looked at. I can see him going Spurs. Cup, maybe.
Obviously, Brighton are very well known for producing talent or buying in talent for very small amounts of money. Look at Caicedo, brought in for peanuts, sold for
they got
gold mine.
They got Ferguson from Bohemians, I think. And they get like a whatever percentage sell-on clause.
Evan Ferguson right now
100 million plus, easily.
You reckon 100 million plus? I get he's 18, but he's not. Obviously, yesterday he scored a hat trick.
If Højlund's 70, very little goals and no Prem experience. This guy's got Prem experience, best league in the world, 18, big contract. You only sold him 100 million. If Caicedo's 100 million, so is he. Easy. And if Kane can go, it's 100%. I think with the potential he's got, because as you said, he's got the attributes. He tends to be an attractive man as well, which is what you're saying.
He's just turned 18.
Got the ability.
You make me look like a nonce here, for fuck's sake. No. Right, no, I'm not saying. Right, I'm just saying he's very well built for his age.
He's got all the correct attributes.
His physique is strong. Okay, he's big, he's strong.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I'm not saying I fancy him. Saying he's big and strong.
No, I know what you mean, but 100 million, I think, especially with the way there's very little strikers as well. There's not many number 9s really in the world that, unless you're paying a lot for. Like Osimhen was they wanted 150 for him. So
he's worth 150.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But Ferguson will be definitely 100 million, I'd say for sure. To Brighton as well, they look at it and go, if you want him, because he's only going to go to another Prem team as well. He doesn't strike me as someone that's going to go Barca or Madrid or somewhere. So I'd definitely say 100 million.
I think Brighton are a team that's really impressed me over the years, and I think one player that's just been consistent throughout the whole of Brighton stay in the Premier League and is finally getting the recognition he deserves is Pascal Gross. Got his first Germany call-up. Guess what? He's 32 years old, and he just got his first Germany call-up.
I suppose there's just a lot of good players in that midfield, though, isn't it? You've got Kimmich and Goretzka. Gundogan's been playing there, so they've got a lot of good
Pascal
players.
Gross.
Yeah,
he's in with the big guns now. You know what I mean?
He's a very good player. He was always a bit overshadowed by the McAllisters, the Caicedos, the Basuma at one point, and I think now he's, as you said, he's getting that recognition.
At 32 years of age, it's his time.
Exactly, yeah.
And even Billy Gilmore's playing well, and I said a few things about Billy Gilmore whilst he was at Norwich. I didn't think he was very great. I thought he'd end up in League One.
Yeah.
And now he's proving all of us wrong, and he's turning out to be a tidy little
They've got
player.
a lot. I said a lot of good players going forward. João Pedro looks good for them.
Mitoma, March.
Yeah, and obviously added Ansu Fati, Ferguson. And they've signed another replacement for Walker. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he'll probably turn out to be some baller as well.
Yeah, probably.
He will be.
Stupiñán's
a very good player. Lamptey's a good player.
Well, Lamptey doesn't even get the team anymore.
I think he definitely played yesterday. I don't know if he started.
He didn't start, no. Mate, he was starting for the under-21s a few weeks back.
They've got experience in players, like they brought in obviously Milner and Evan Lallana. Experienced players with one stuff that obviously help a lot of the younger players. So, and Dunk's experience as well. Webster's a good defender.
Yeah, and a well-deserved win. But the issue is in that game, what is going wrong with Newcastle? Because this is... We spoke on the second episode of the podcast. You know, we're like, well, could Newcastle... I think we even titled it, could Newcastle challenge for the title? This is the thing. We know nothing about football, it seems. Because Newcastle, they look so unbalanced. They look really unbalanced.
I think they've been just shook up. I generally think we did something like last week. I think that was so unexpected for us to beat them.
I don't think it's a sense they got shook up, but they look unbalanced.
I think it's a mental thing because it's the same players. There's no different. Okay, they had to put Dan Burn in at centre back, and you're looking at their squad depth. Botman out, and now they got Matt Targett at left back and Burn at centre back. They're not that great.
That's prime Barclays, mate. That is.
But that's not. That's not Champions League. That's not what they're in.
Mate, that's low level Premier.
And you're only one Bruno Guimaraes injury away from starting Longstaff or someone else.
I saw an interesting tweet. I can't remember who tweeted it out, but it's just the midfield how it's unbalanced, and it's almost like Bruno Guimaraes is just. He sees himself as invincible at the minute, in the sense that he can't get dropped, and he's not playing well, and.
He's a very good player.
He's a very good player on his day, but the fact is his day is very far and few to come by this season so far.
Yeah.
If he isn't playing well, Eddie Howe has to step up. Right, you're getting dropped for Joe Willock.
In fairness, Joe Willock's injured, but I will say Tonali's a good player.
Tonali's good. I like Tonali.
Joe Linton, I think he'd be one of the first ones that would be going soon because I think he's good, but he's not amazing, but he does a job. I think there's no one in that that's like proper defensive minded. I think the three of them they're just good runners.
Look at Newcastle, I'm looking at them and they're very. It's always kind of with Newcastle very much. It's a unity, it's a team, it's a cohesion rather than there being a standout player. But I think if they really want to reach the next level, you need that world class player in there. I don't think Bruno Guimaraes is that world class player. I don't think Alexander Isak is that world class player yet. I think they needed, especially this summer, that one signing that's just going to take him to the next level. Sandro Tonali, again, could be, but I think, again, he's still young. Same with Isak.
I think they're doing it the right way. Because
they're doing it the right way, but I think...
It's realistic. No one's, you're not going to have maybe Bellingham was never going to go there, or someone that was never... Because they're not at that consistent... They overachieved last season because of how poor Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea were last season. Realistically, otherwise they wouldn't have got top four.
Do you think that Newcastle fans maybe need to lower the expectations a little bit of Newcastle?
I think they've just been humbled the last couple of weeks, personally. I think that's what it is. I think they're a good team, but I said at the start, they'll finish.
It's a completely different team to the side that absolutely dismantled Aston Villa on the opening day of the season. Yeah,
for sure. But then that's one game, and that could just overshadow everything. I think they've got good. Isaac's a very good player. Harvey Barnes is a very good player. Guimaraes is a very good player. But I said the one injury and the whole backline looks average. Do you know, you're looking at Shaw, Burn, Targett, and Trippier, and Pope's not amazing. He's not even been called up in the recent England team. It's not a great back. That's one of the worst back lines in the top four, top five. Without Botman, you had Botman in there, it's a different level. But I think they're just getting found out. Their squad depth isn't as good as what everyone thinks. But that's expected because they've not bought loads of players. They've just bought pieces at a time. They're not buying that squad depth yet. I think is the issue with them. So when Europe kicks in, and they've got a really tough group as well.
But that must be great for their fans, though. They haven't been in Europe for God knows how long.
It could have been much better on that side.
You're going to Dortmund, and who else?
And Milan.
And Milan. Oh my word! You know what? As a Norwich fan, if we ever done that, best believe I'm getting the biggest Wonga loan ever, and I'm going to Europe, baby. I'm taking a year off work. I'm taking a gap year off work, mate. You know what I mean? I'm doing the whole shebang. I would love that. Yeah. There is nothing more than I want in my life than seeing Norwich abroad. Just seeing Norwich play in Europe. European football.
I was going to say, you have that in pre-season when they play abroad.
Yeah, I've done that once and it was incredible. Mate, do you know what? I'd love to go I don't know, just to the arse end of fucking North Macedonia to watch Norwich. Absolutely. Nice. That is my dream. Yeah. So I think for Newcastle fans, especially, obviously they've been in the Championship.
They'll be happy.
They'll be gassed with that draw. And
I think they should be getting... I don't know if that is. It's a very hard group to call. I'd say PSG top would be the only one I'd be confident in.
I wouldn't even be too confident.
I don't know. Their new front line looks very good. They've got that Colomboani, Mbappe, and Dembele.
Oh yeah, the Son Colomboani.
They're going to kill Dan Burn and Matt Target. That's not even a debate. So
Mbappe
up against Kieran Trippier.
I reckon Dan Burn might have something to say about that. The sprint race with Mbappe.
Don't get me wrong. St James's would be a tough place to go for sure.
Especially
but
European.
It'll be when they're balancing, like if they've got a game on a Tuesday or Wednesday, then they're playing Saturday. They have
squad depth is an issue for Newcastle,
and that's when I think they'll come undone a bit. But
yeah,
I hope that I want every team to get far in the Champions League, other than United. So,
well, just to finish off, Adam, I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions. Obviously, with the transfer window shutting, so we've both said our signing of the summer is James Maddison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think, come the end of the season, will sort of be your bold shout for that's going to have a very good season this season? That's signing in the summer.
What, that people probably wouldn't?
Yeah, maybe wouldn't, or just your opinion on.
It would have like an impact. See, it's difficult because like with price tags, like I think Szoboszlai has proven me wrong. I was a bit sceptical about him, but the last couple of games he's been unbelievable in my opinion. He was very good against Newcastle. But then for 60 odd million, you can't really be.
No, but even then, doesn't have to be price.
That's what I'm saying.
Someone who you think is going to perform.
Be really good. I'm trying to think. I think Ansu Fati could be exciting. I don't know if he'll like necessarily take him to that next level because I don't know really how much higher they can really go realistically. I'm trying to think of other players.
And get top 4.
I don't see him get like realistically.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the level up.
Yeah, but he need more than him to get that. I'm trying to think of other players that I think could have a really good season. I think Doku at Man City could be exciting.
He had a really good game yesterday, apparently.
Yeah, and I think obviously there'll be expectation because he's gone to Man City. But other than that, not many people know too much about him. I know a lot. Like he's always been a bit of a wonder kid. I think he'd probably be a standout that I'd go. Yeah, because I think he'll keep Grealish out of the team if he plays well.
Yeah,
and that's difficult to do because Grealish is a very, and I think he'll keep him out of the team if he plays well because he's a different sort of winger with that pace and whereas Grealish gets the ball, wants to keep the ball, whereas Doku's willing to take the risks, beat players, and just get to the byline and get it in. So I think he'll probably be the one for me. I'd say.
Oh, I've now got to have a think. What would mine be?
Yeah,
what would mine be? This is actually a good thing. I'm trying to go through like deadline day because I want to go for someone who's signed on deadline day, given that with.
It's good to see people like Origi back in the Premier League as well.
Yeah.
I think Hudson-Odoi as well could be very good, and Elanga would be good at Forest. But
I think who would be mine?
And like, it's good prices.
I like the idea of Brennan Johnson. I do like that. Cool. Do you know what? I think he's already proving himself at the minute. I'll go for one that isn't deadline. I'll go for one that is. I think he's already proven himself at the minute. But that's Moussa Diaby at Aston Villa. I think he's such a good signing. Such a clever signing.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
He has started the season well as well. And I think Villa will really be a monster. And I think they'll surprise people with their squad depth as well. But yeah, I think Moussa Diaby will probably be, come the end of the season for me, one of the standouts.
They'll look at him and go, why did a City or why did a bigger team not get him? Yeah, so missed a trick.
But deadline day, do you know what? I'm really struggling to look past Brennan Johnson. I think there is something about him, and because I knew Ange Postecoglou wanted Brennan Johnson for a fair while, and the way how he sort of integrated this Spurs team into a new style of play and how sort of assertive he's
clearly got
he's got that
slot for him.
Yeah, and I feel
he knows something that maybe we don't.
Exactly, I feel like there is going to be something there for Brennan Johnson.
What would you say flop of the signing would be? Somewhere or other.
I think Cole Palmer is really screaming out to me, just because I don't get it. I don't see how he's going to improve. But flop signing for me.
Somebody just not going to do it. I think Mason Mount for United.
Mason Mount for United or Cole Palmer at Chelsea. I think for me is going to be.
Yeah, I think Caicedo's under a lot of pressure with the money.
Again,
but I think he's a good player.
Yeah,
and it's like he'll come good. He's got
I think Lavia as well could really be one.
If he's not playing football,
if he's not
even in the squad, he's just watching at the stands.
Exactly.
So he's just bought a season ticket.
But yeah. Oh, it's been a brilliant weekend of football. We've had transfer window. We've had a few high-scoring games.
And you've got big games as well today.
Obviously, another Haaland hat-trick, a Son hat-trick, a Ferguson hat-trick. It's hat-tricks all round.
Nunes hat-trick today as well is going to come.
Darwin Nunes hat-trick.
Against Villa.
Oh, stick your house on that one. But thank you very much for watching or listening the Rose Ed podcast. Make sure you go check out mine and Adam's socials. We will be setting up some Rose Ed socials as well. we are going to get onto that as well. So you can follow us all on there and check up the latest updates. But yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you go, follow our socials and go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click that notification bell, like the video, subscribe, all that lovely stuff so you don't miss out on any Row Z content. But that's it for this week. See you guys later.